Bishop Moloi, who once was a commentator on I'm a Bishop, has now a new show on Moja Love, and the least I could say is this is going to be a wild show. I don't think we have seen this type of a show in South Africa, so it's going to be quite an interesting ride to go on, but also it might be a lot of a wake-up call for parents. But this actually goes in tie with the story that is now presently trending about the Dalai Lama, with this whole hwajez and the lip and the tongue and the whatnot. But before I go into that, I'm going to play you the video of Bishop Moloi's new trailer, the trailer for this particular episode.
Okay, let's finish. Quick, let's go. What are you doing here with a child? She's
old enough to be my daughter.
Yes, don't go to confirm with condoms. Listen to me.
Yeah, that's a hectic one. This show that he's on right now, it's a wild one. It's basically tracking people with pedo mentalities and stuff like that. That type of drive of men chasing after kids and stuff like that and all that. Now, the reason why I say this ties straight into the story of the Dalai Lama, there is articles right now reporting that the Dalai Lama had to apologize. Apparently, there was a video, not apparently, there is a video of the Dalai Lama requesting that a child, I don't even want to say those things in case YouTube can take them out of context. You know, YouTube is very sensitive. And so, and it was on camera. Now, Mandem is weird. Now, for him to have done this in front of the cameras with a child, you can go look it up online. I'm not going to show it here. It is weird already. It is as bad as it sounds, but for him to have not seen anything wrong at all when he was sitting right in front of the cameras with a bunch of adults right next to him, some were even clapping. They didn't see anything until they got a time to refresh their brains. You know, this thing of cult mentality. When people idolize someone so much that they don't see any wrong in the person, this is kind of like the stuff that actually happens, that they don't see anything. Until later on when people start saying, excuse me, what was you doing over there? Now, this is why I wanted to tie this particular story with Bishop Moloi's episode, because for a lot of people, they might not realize the dangers that kids pose for themselves by being online or whatnot and stuff like that, and the kind of dangers that the world has right now, presently. There's a lot that's going on. And I think this episode or this show that Bishop Moloi is going to be leading on this one, it's going to highlight on some of those things, and I hope that it does become clear. Some people, as I've stated, have desires of things that they need to work on. There is a weird area at the back of their mind they need to work on. At the back of their mind, there's something there, where they find kids attractive. It's just a weird place. It's strange. Another thing with adults who have such desires that they kind of look at is that these kids, as they come into maturity, if you remember the video that we did about the tavern, when the kids were there and some kids died at the tavern. So they use things that adults use to portray themselves a certain way, and as a way to say, I am there. So alcohol, when adults are there on social media parading themselves drinking alcohol, kids see this stuff and they're like, oh yeah, that's a sign or a mark of coming into adulthood. So they grab on and they gravitate towards that. So when you have your kids following some of these weird social media people, all these weirdos, all the strange influencers, whatever you call them, who are busy doing dubious things, kid might end up associating. You know, I was talking to someone today in the morning, And they were telling me about a shocker that they got from a child at their household. And this child came to them, sending them, showing them pictures and saying, this is devilish. You know, a child came to her and said, this is demonic. It's a child. This is a child. I was extremely proud. For that moment, I was proud of this kid. That the kid at a young age has been taught so well that they know to separate this and this. And they think that's how you come into adulthood. And so they might see those kind of things. They might see people on television dating older men and whatnot and stuff. And they might associate that trace as a thing that says, I am matured. People talking about sugar, having sugar daddies and being blessers and whatnot. And this type of culture being accepted, being a slave queen and whatnot. This social media nonsense that's been peddled out there can become acceptable to a point where it portrays to these kids, this is how you come into adulthood. This is how you determine that you are matured. So as a result of that, these kids can go off track. They can start wanting to gravitate towards, and these idiots, yes, that's what they are. These idiots know that, fellas here, that will see that, and they look to take advantage of that. A lot of people are in sleep mode. Right now, everybody feels like, it's a free-for-all. You're not allowed to beat your kids. Government dictates that. Your kids can take decisions at 16 without telling you. There's all these rules and laws and whatnots that get you outside of your kids' lives, basically. But now, this type of a show will show, and it will shake up people at their boots. At the trailer already, it's going to be happening. At the trailer, I think this show people need to see that episode. These are the kind of shows. The shows that shows the ills of society. But it shows the ills of society so that these type of people get themselves fixed. Your way is not the highway. Important because it will show. When the Bible says the heart of man is terribly wicked, who can know it? Is because that terror that strikes off at the core of a human being's heart. And it's best that they know we are watching them. That's why a show like that is also important. So that they know, we know you are out there. We know you are targeting our young girls. It's on site. It's Ricky. I'll see you on the later on episode. That was quite an interesting one. And I thought that was it's necessary to see that, where you start to see the evils of society. It's not we live in a rainbow nation. It's not so rainbow. Sometimes it turns black and white.